What's going on, y'all? So, I want to give you my first impressions and a little review of the Elysia Xfilter 500 series. This is the stereo EQ from Elysia, and this is actually their Vinyl Allstars edition. This is their 10th year anniversary limited edition. Now, pretty cool because they used actual vinyl records. If you look at some close up pictures of these, you'll be able to see that. It's probably hard to see here with this camera angle. However, it's really cool because they only made 50 of these. Well, they made 200 total, but they did 50 of each of their 500 series modules. And I've got serial number 18 here. And I really respect Elysia because, and this isn't a knock to other companies that do clones, but Elysia, all of their products they make is unique in their own vision, their own concept. They're not trying to recreate anything. They're not cloning 1176s and LA2As. All of their products are unique, and I really respect that about them. Looking at this EQ, when I get analog gear, I like to get gear that my plugins can't do, or have gear that my gear can do that plugins can't do. One thing I noticed with this EQ is that it goes up to 28K, and which is a frequency I really like on this EQ. So 4-band EQ, you've got the low shelf and high shelf can either be a shelf or a filter. So the low shelf can be switched to a low cut filter, and the high shelf can be switched to a high shelf filter. And it has overlapping frequencies, which really adds to the versatility of this EQ, because with overlapping frequencies, if I don't want a shelf in a frequency where it overlaps in the middle bands, I can use that as a bell curve versus a shelf. For example, I've got 16K on the high shelf, and I also have 16K on the high mid, where the low mid and high mid are bell curves, and the extreme low and high are shelves. So if I wanted a bell curve at 16K, I can do that with this EQ rather than having to use the shelf. Another reason I got this, I've been using the JDK R24 on my mix bus for the last, 5 or 6 years. One thing about the JDK EQ, though I love it, it does not have a shelf. So this will give me some versatility in that department because I have shelves now. And it also has, this very top button is a passive massage, which gives you a little bump at 12K and then a high cut roll off, it's subtle, but you can hear it, and it can be useful on certain tracks. But this is going to mainly be my mix bus EQ, and I'm going to also use it for mastering. Let's take a quick listen to it on a mix here I did last month, or maybe about 6 weeks ago. This is a song called Sunday Candy from an artist named RAVS. I'm going to play just the hook here. I'm going to go ahead and play it with the Xfilter bypassed, and then we'll engage it and start turning some knobs.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy.
Okay, so let's engage the Xfilter, and we'll start turning some knobs. I want to first show the low end. I'm gonna take the low shelf and let's boost some low frequency.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week.
So that's a 8 dB low shelf at 80 hertz. Let's listen again, and let's take the Xfilter in and out.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body.
You can see the Xfilter beefs up the low end. However, I think that's too much low end with that shelf because, remember, a shelf boosts all the frequencies down. below where you're boosting. So instead of a shelf, I'm going to do the bell curve here, and we'll find the same frequency around 80 hertz. We'll do the same boost. One thing I noticed with this EQ is that the low shelf and high shelf goes to 16 dB booster cut, while the mids do 13 dB. Not a big deal, just an observation. One thing I'll also say while I'm thinking about it, I actually wish that the gain knobs were different colors. And so if the gain knobs were different colors, it would help me distinguish between the frequency and gain more quickly. But as I use this EQ more, eventually I'll get used to it. But let's listen to the bell curve, adding the low end there, doing about 80 hertz, doing about 8 dB as well. And let's start with it out, and then we'll bring it in.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy.
So I actually like that bell curve better than the shelf as far as the on the low frequency. Let's add some high end now, and I've already got the high shelf cranked to 28K. We're gonna let's add about 8 dB there, and let's bring it in and hear what the X filter does to the high end at this 28K. We'll say if you're listening to this on laptop speakers, you may not be able to hear this as far as this extreme high frequency. So again, make sure you're listening to this on your studio monitor, something that's gonna represent that full frequency range.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy.
So you can hear even there with the high end on the X filter, it brings the vocal forward a little bit. It's really interesting to hear more energy added when you're boosting it at 28K, but it really does add to the forwardness. Let's bring the vocals forward a little more with adding some 3K here. So I'm going to boost about 4 dB at 3K, and we're going to back down a little on the 28K. Let's take it out and bring it in, and let's see what we got.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain, rain down Zion. It's gonna rain. You better come on in this house.
So let's lastly take a look at the passive massage. And again, it's a bump around 12K with a high cut roll off. So I'm gonna, as quickly as I can, set everything back to 0 so we can hear just this feature here. And I believe, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna play it one last time. We're gonna bring in and out the passive massage.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, you my Sunday candy. Come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain, rain down Zion. It's gonna rain. You better come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain.
So like I said, it's subtle, but you can hear a couple dB boost up there on the high end. This would be really nice for vocals, for just for just mixing vocals. But again, that's my quick impressions, quick little look at the Xfilter 500. Again, this is the 10th year anniversary Vinyl All-Star edition. Uh, really liking this EQ. This is going to get used a lot over mixes and masterings that I do. Pretty much from now on. There's no other EQ that I can think of stereo wise in the 500 series that can do what this EQ does. Another thing I really love about this EQ, a stereo EQ, I'm only turning one knob to boost both channels at the same time. With my JDK R24, I'd have to boost the left and right channel. So again, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.